NXT Stand and Deliver is just 2 days away, so in this video, I will be going over who I think should win every match, who I think will win every match, and any other predictions I have for every match. Let's get into it. First, in the pre-show, we have a 10-person mixed tag team match, with one team being Hank and Tank, Eli Knight, Ren Sinclair, Shiloh Hill, versus Birthright, Channing Stacks, Lorenzo, Adriana Rizzo, Uriah Connors, Charlie Dempsey, and Lexis King. And I did not mean Ariana Rizzo, I meant Ariana Grace. I don't this one, I think who should win, I guess Birthright, because they're an actual faction and I think they will win. I don't think anything crazy is going to happen in this match because it's obviously on the pre-show. I think it's just going to be a fun match and a good way to get a bunch of names on the card. Not too much to this one. I just think that that's basically the only reason I think they're going to win is because they're an actual faction. So, yeah. Also, I guess it's worth mentioning, but it's not a match. Sexy Red is going to return at Stand and Deliver. I'm not sure why. I don't know if she's going to get physical or what. But I guess I'm interested to see what happens there. Next, we have a match between the champion Tatum Paxley and the challenger Blake Monroe for the Women's NXT North American Championship. Now, this is interesting because I think either one of them could honestly win it. I think that Blake Monroe probably will win it, but I think Tatum Paxley should. And my reasoning for that is because Tatum Paxley, she won the NXT Championship a little bit ago. Didn't have a very long reign. It was literally like a week or two or something, I'm pretty sure. I don't know 100% for sure, but I think so. And this reign has been like maybe a month long. And I would like to see Tatum Paxley, who is great at everything that a wrestler should be good at doing, I would like to see her get a proper run with the title, with a title at least. However, I could definitely see the opposite thought of Blake Monroe winning because she brings a lot of star power. She's a great champion. She's obviously main roster ready since day one, so she knows how to be a champion. And Tatum Paxley does too, just not as well as Blake Monroe. Don't really have any other predictions other than that. I think Blake Monroe will win. I think Tatum Paxley should win, though. However, I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer here. I think you could make a very strong case for either of these women to win. Next, we have a match for the NXT North American Championship between Miles Bourne and Johnny Gargano. Now, this one is interesting. It was originally looking like Johnny Gargano was just going to keep planking forever until his contract ends and he gets released, probably. And I think a lot of people thought that and expected that to happen. Then he showed up at NXT. He somehow managed to win with the help of Candice LeRae. He won a number one contenders match and a gauntlet turmoil match for the NXT North American Championship, challenging him at Stand and Deliver. They had a promo on the most recent episode of NXT where Johnny Gargano basically said, "You do not want to see Johnny wrestling because he will eat you alive. And if he's able to find Johnny takeover, he will be champion because he needs to be." And I agree, he does need to be champion if he wants a chance at really doing anything, because he had some hopes on SmackDown and then got destroyed by Obafemi, and he managed to come back from that. But if he doesn't win this, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do here for Johnny Gargano, and he is probably just going to get released. However, like, I don't really see him winning because they're pushing Miles Bourne to the moon, and it's deserved. I think they want him to be like one of the cornerstones of NXT moving forward, with like the huge wave of call-ups we had with Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Obafemi, all of them getting called up. I think they're going to want him as a big future star at NXT. And a great way to do that is, first of all, having him dethrone one of the greatest North American champions of all time, but then also holding that title for a long time. I don't think it would necessarily like hurt Miles Bourne that bad if he lost to Johnny Gargano, because Johnny Gargano is so famous for how great he was in NXT. So I don't think it would like destroy all Miles Bourne's credibility, but I do think it would hurt him a bit. I I think Miles Bourne will win, but I kind of want Johnny Gargano to win just because, first of all, I never got to see Johnny wrestling, but also I don't want him to get released. However, a huge possibility that I think could happen very realistically is Candice LeRae turning on him. We already saw, you know, Candice LeRae help Motor City Machine Guns win a match. Um, she's been talking with Alex Shelley and stuff backstage, and I think the Motor City Machine Guns could turn heel and make a faction with Candice LeRae, just based off of what I've seen. And it seems like Candice LeRae is just still not very happy with Johnny Gargano, which, I mean, it's fair. Your husband is just kind of laying on everything. And I think that's what's going to happen. My final prediction is Candice LeRae is going to turn on Johnny Gargano and cost him the North American Championship. And I think, honestly, I think it would be really cool if they had an intergender match between Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. I mean, tell me that wouldn't be a great match. I don't think WWE has the balls to do that. I don't think they're going to. But, it would be cool. So I think Miles Bourne will win, want Johnny Gargano to win, and Candice LeRae turns on Johnny Gargano. Next, we have a match for the NXT Tag Team Championships between Los Americanos and the Vanity Project. I don't think Los Americanos really has any chance at winning here. The Vanity Project has been on a roll. It seems like they're in line for a strong push. They just recently won the titles, somewhat recently. And Los Americanos are doing plenty of other things just with El Grande Americano, the greatest luchador of all time. So I don't think there's any chance that Los Americanos wins. Vanity Project wins. I think they should win, and they will win. It's simple as that. Next, we have a match between Sol Ruca and Zarya. It kind of sucks that the build to this match has been underwhelming. Because, I mean, this feud had so much potential, and it's still been a good feud. It just could have been great, and I think they missed out on that. I think they missed out on adding a stipulation to this. I think it should have been like a Hell in a Cell match or something like that. I would have loved to see it, but we ultimately didn't get that, and beggars can't be choosers. So I'm still very excited for this match. Two of my favorite wrestlers in NXT. As for who should win and will win, I think Sol Ruca will win because they obviously see her as the future of the women's division, as they should. But I think Sol Ruca's in line to go. Whoever wins this is in line to gun after the women's NXT championship right after Stand and Deliver. I basically guarantee it. However, I think Zarya should win. Zarya needs this win more than Sol Ruca, and frankly, I think Zarya is in the right in this feud. Whether or not Sol Ruca wins, whether or not she eats pin after pin, she's still very clearly going to be a women's NXT champion, going to be a huge megastar in the WWE. Zarya, not as certain. I think Zarya could use this win a lot more than Sol Ruca. And WrestleMania / Stand and Deliver are typically where the baby faces come out on top. And I know that Sol Ruca is supposed to be the babyface in this, but she honestly hasn't been. Zarya has been the favorite. But again, I don't think that with Sol Ruca winning would be a bad decision at all. I just think Zarya should win because it would hurt her more to take a loss. Zarya. It would hurt Zarya more if she took a loss than Soruka. I do kind of hope that there's a point in this where the referee goes down, um, and they kind of just are able to go berserk on each other for a while and um like use weapons, put each other through tables and stuff. And I think there's also maybe a small possibility that this feud doesn't end at Stand and Deliver just because they've only been able to feud for like 4 to 5 weeks. And this is one of the biggest feuds you can have in the women's division. I do think it will still end here though, and I could see why you would want it to just be a clean ending, but I kind of don't want it to be a clean ending so that the feud can continue. Might sound stupid, but I kind of hope that happens. So I think Soruka will win, but Zarya should win. There's also a match between that was like just announced between JC Jane, Lola Vice, and Kendall Gray for the Women's NXT Championship. I think that JC Jane will win that. But I kind of would actually like to see Kendall Gray come out with the win. JC Jane is main roster ready, and she's been a champion for quite a long time, established her dominance, and I would like to see something new with Kendall Gray, who is going to be a megastar. I just don't see Lola Vice winning it because she has other stuff going on. She's already a champion in AAA, so I just don't see it happening. So I think that Kendall Gray should win, but JC Jane will win. Next, we have a match, probably the main event for the NXT Championship between Joe Hendry, Tony D'Angelo, Ethan Page, and Ricky Saints. I almost said Ricky Starks, but that was his AEW name. As for who wins this, I don't know. What I do know, though, is I think Joe Hendry is not retaining. I guess, I mean, dude, I really feel like it's a toss up here, man. I guess since both Ethan Page and Ricky Saints have been NXT champion, I will say Tony D'Angelo wins this, and I think he has the most amount of momentum coming into this match. A very strong return, been obliterating the entire NXT roster, took out Dark State, then started gunning after the NXT championship. I could see him winning it later than Stand and Deliver, but I'm gonna say Joe Hendry gets called up and Tony D'Angelo wins this. Yeah, I like that decision. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I think Tony D'Angelo should win too. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you're excited for on Stand and Deliver. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my predictions. I would love to hear what you have to say. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want. And